If you just read the bio for Dr. Steve, host of Weird Medicine on Sirius XM 103 and made popular by two really comedy shows, Opie and Anthony and Ron and Bez, you would have thought that this guy was a bit of, a clown.
Your show was better when you had medical questions. Hey!
I've got diphtheria crushing my esophagus. I've got Ebola virus dripping from my nose. I've got the leprosy of the heart valve, exacerbating my incredible woes. I want to take my brain out and blast it with the wave, an ultrasonic echographic and a pulsating shave. I want a magic pill for all my ailments, the health equivalent of Citizen Kane. And if I don't get it now in the tablet, I think I'm doomed and I'll have to go insane. I want a requiem for my disease, so I'm paging Dr. Steve. Dr. Steve!
It's Weird Medicine, the first and still only uncensored medical show in the history of broadcast radio, now a podcast. I'm Dr. Steve, with my little pal Dr. Scott, the traditional Chinese medical practitioner who keeps the alternative medicine weirdos at bay. Hello, Dr. Scott. Uh-oh. Why is your mic not on? Try that again.
Hey, Dr. Steve.
And my wife, Tacie, the professional WebEx attendee.
Hello.
Not for the next 2 weeks, though, right?
Nope.
Excellent. This is a show for people who would never listen to a medical show on the radio or the internet. If you have a question, you're embarrassed to take to your regular medical provider. If you can't find an answer anywhere else, give us a call at 347-766-4323. That's 347
Pooh-head.
Pooh-head.
Wow. What the hell?
I'm on vacation.
Hell is frozen over.
I'll say what I want. I'm going to say what I want.
Visit our website at drsteve.com for podcast medical news and stuff you can buy, or go to our merchandise store at cafepress.com/weirdmedicine. Most importantly, we are not your medical providers. Take everything you hear with a grain of salt. Don't act on anything you hear on this show without talking it over with your doctor, nurse practitioner, practical nurse, physician assistant, pharmacist, chiropractor, acupuncturist, yoga master, physical therapist, clinical laboratory scientist, registered dietitian, or whatever. All right, very good. Well, it's good to see you. I'm very interested. You know, that opening that we've done with Bernie and Sid, and then this guy, hang on. Oh, wait a minute. Let's stop all that. This guy.
Your show was better when you had medical questions. AIDS!
The fact that fits perfectly with the intro music. So in the intro music being this. And I just happened to accidentally just hit it at the same time one day.
Your show was better when you had medical questions. AIDS!
I've got diphtheria.
It's perfect.
That's hilarious, yeah.
Dude hits the post perfectly. I want to know if that guy is around, and that was probably
That's been years.
called in. That was back when double vasectomy turd was here.
Yes.
So, let's try this one. Let me try this one. Hang on.
Can you please stop bullshitting and get to the question?
That works.
That's pretty darn close, too.
That works.
Pretty close.
Now, this one is 6 seconds long. Let's see. Hang on.
God damn, this is about as boring as sex with my wife.
I've got diphtheria.
That's perfect, too.
There you go.
Let me see. I think that's it. No, okay. We got one more. Here's one more.
You never answered a single fucking medical question. The fuck, man?
I've got diphtheria.
That one doesn't quite
He was
work.
one tick too long.
Let me see if I do it a little early.
You never answered a single fucking medical question. The fuck, man? What the fuck?
I've got diphtheria crushing my esophagus.
That works if I do it that way. Well, anyway, that's hilarious. But we thank all of the people who have called crapping on us in the past, and it was very entertaining.
Love it.
But it just happened by accident, and it was like, that's perfect, so we've retained it. And then Bernie and Sid, that was so great being on their show. And that was actually, they were talking about me at the end of the interview.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'd given them good information about the coronavirus at the very early part of the pandemic. I think that was sometime in April. And he said, well, if you'd think this guy was some sort of a clown, and he's not wrong. Anyway, all right.
Nope.
Hey, don't forget to check out stuff.drsteve.com for all your Amazon needs, and wine.drsteve.com for if you want to join the same wine club we're in. I hadn't seen too much activity with that. I'll quit promoting it if people are interested in it. But we find it amazing. So if you're a wine drinker, I don't see any reason you shouldn't try it. At least try one shipment, just because I keep buying it. But I got about like $250 worth of wine for $85 or something, just shipped straight to. We have it shipped to the Walgreens because it comes FedEx, so we just pick it up there, so you don't have to be there because I think it has to have an adult to sign for it. But check it out, wine.drsteve.com. Also, tweakedaudio.com. Offer code FLUID for the best earbloods for the price. Use offer code FLUID to get 33% off and the best customer service anywhere. And then lose weight after the holidays with us, noom.drsteve.com, noom.drsteve.com.
Gonna do it this time. Gonna do it. Gonna do it. I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm working on my second year. Finishing my second year. And
you've been doing it that long?
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah, love it. And you only have to do it for 3 months. And after you cancel, you can still use the app, but you lose your counselor. But really, most of the time, you only need the counselor for the first 3 months. I'm just needy. And check out Dr. Scott's website at simplyherbals.net.
You're listening to Weird Medicine.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Boxing Day to our Canadian friends. This is our lovely Christmas show, and we're still just going to talk about COVID-19. But this is going to be all medical questions from you, the listeners. We've got so many just build up because we've been yakking that I thought that as our holiday gift to you, we would actually answer questions for once. So,
well, last week was out of hand.
It was a little bit out of hand, but that's okay.
It's fun, though.
Yeah, I had fun. I don't know how much fun it was to listen to
Can
it.
you please stop bullshitting and get to the question?
Okay, fair enough. All right, are you ready?
Do it.
Yes.
You want to talk? We have to talk about one thing, is this mutant strain of COVID-19.
Yes. Mutant coronavirus in the United Kingdom sets off alarms, but its importance remains unclear.
Yeah. Yeah, so they said it's 70% more transmissible. Well, that sounds like, 70% of people are going to get it. No. It means 70% more people will get it. So if the R sub 0 or R naught of the original strain of SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes the disease COVID-19, is approximately 2.4. So if we take that and multiply it times 1.7, that will tell us what the transmissibility is. So we have our little friend Echo. Echo, what is 2.4 times 1.7? Is she on?
No, I think there she is. I think she was just taking a nap.
Echo, what is 2.4 times 1.7? I already know the answer. I'm just trying to
show off.
Yeah, good job.
Oh, for F's sake, is she doing anything?
I think she was in hibernation.
She's on vacation.
Can you move it so that I can see the ring?
Sure.
So that, she's just sitting there thinking. So it's 4.
Okay.
So that means one person, instead of giving it to 2.5 people, will give it to 4 people. So now that increases the requirement for herd immunity to get up to almost 70% from 56%.
Okay.
So if this strain somehow took over, then we'd have a little bit farther to go to get to herd immunity.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it only matters if the people who are already immune to the original strain are not immune to this one. Because if they're not immune to this one, it's a whole new freaking pandemic.
Right.
And that also means that the vaccines that we have out don't work. There's no evidence that that's the case. As a matter of fact, it makes a lot of sense that the vaccine and previous immunity will still hold even with this new strain. Okay?
Right.
And the other way that it would matter is if it was somehow more deadly. And again, there's no evidence of that at all.
Good.
So if it's not more deadly and immunity is the same, the vaccine works against it. If you had it before, it works against it. Then this isn't a big deal. We'll just have to get to herd immunity a little bit quicker, and it'll take a little bit farther to get there. That's if this becomes the prevalent strain. We don't know that. A lot of times viruses will mutate, and when they mutate, they become less deadly.
Right.
They'll trade transmissibility for lethality because the vaccine doesn't want to kill us. It wants us to transmit it to somebody else. So if we die, then it can't transmit itself anymore. Not that it's thinking about anything, but if you just think about the natural selection of a self-replicating nano machine, if it gets into a host that can't transmit it to anybody, it didn't do it any good.
Right.
Okay? So we'll see. We shall see. In about a month, we'll know the answer.
Good.
Okay?
Ugh.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Number one thing, don't take advice from some asshole on the radio.
Now, Scott, you had a mug in front of you that was made by a friend of yours.
Yeah, a buddy of ours from Murfreesboro named Daniel. He made us some pretty cool.
They are cool
mugs here. It says "Check your stupid nuts for lumps."
Except that it's a vacuum. It's one of those vacuum like a Yeti.
Yeah,
but it's stainless steel.
Yep. Yeah, he's
and
got.
It looks really cool.
Yeah, he's got a cool laser printer that it actually shaves that coating off of it and cleans it down to the and that stainless steel, and it's a pretty cool little mug.
So it's stainless steel under the paint, and then it just shaves the coating off.
Yep, pretty cool, huh?
That's cool as hell.
Yeah, man.
I got
nice.
a cup with my name spelled right.
That's
like the biggest deal ever.
That's never happened.
Never.
No. I still think he should have put Tacie on it. So Tacie.
Yeah, that was her name in high school.
Tacie. So thank you, Daniel.
Yeah, that's awesome. Does he want us to plug his business or anything, or does he want to sell those?
No, neither. No,
okay.
That's just strictly a gift.
Okay, all right. Fair enough.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Check out Dr. Scott's website at simplyherbals.net, by the way. All right. Let's see. You ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Uh-oh. Here we go. Here's what this... Oh.
Hey, Dr. Steve. This is Mike from Buffalo.
Hey, Mike.
I have a question about calories in, food, prepackaged food.
Okay.
So, real quick, when you're reading the label and let's say whatever it is, a jar queso dip is 360 calories. I understand the candy bar or whatever.
It's usually 360 calories per serving, by the way, not per jar. Mm-hmm. So that's how they'll fool you. They'll say 100 calories per serving of salsa, but it'll be one serving is a teaspoon or something ridiculous like that. So you have to be very vigilant about that. But anyway, let's go on.
360 calories, you eat the whole thing. But a jar of queso or any dip of that kind or something of that ilk, do you have to basically lick the jar clean in order to reach that exact amount of calories? Because let's say you're scooping out salsa or whatever queso, like I said, there's always stuff that sticks to the jar or the can. In some cases, maybe a can of refried beans, you don't get every single bean out.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that means you have to lick the jar clean in order for all those calories to be calculated. All right, thanks, Dr. Steve. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving.
Hey, thanks. You too, man. And hope you have a great other holidays that are coming up. Calories. Have you ever wondered why it's the calories on these labels are always in very round numbers, like 360 or 100?
Right.
That's BS.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So first thing is it's approximate. Mm-hmm. So even if you licked the jar clean, and it's going to be plus or minus some percentage of what's in there, that doesn't guarantee you're going to get exactly 360 calories. If it's 360 calories per jar, and I bet it's not. I bet it's per
serving,
quarter cup or whatever. Mm-hmm. Calories are units that are used to measure energy. So the calories you see on food packaging are actually kilocalories. It's crazy. They're 1,000 calories. So a capital C calorie will we'll notate it in medicine as kcal, or kilocalorie. That's the amount of energy needed to raise the temperature of 1 kilogram of water 1 degree Celsius, not Fahrenheit. And, every once in a while, you will see energy content in food in scientific circles expressed in kilojoules, but, it's always going to be calories on packaging in the United States. So back in the day, what they would do is put food in a sealed container that was surrounded by water, and they called this a bomb calorimeter. And then you would burn the food and then measure the rise in temperature in the water around the calorimeter, and then you could calculate from that how many calories were in that. Because that's what you're really doing is when you eat food and you extract energy from it, you're burning it just at a very slow rate. Right? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. Thank you. I'm just trying to get some
feedback.
Would you like some
a little,
attention?
just a head nod or somebody looking, in my general direction, so I know that what I'm saying is making sense.
We're with you, Dr.
All right,
Steve.
but anyway, that's fine. And so now they use a different system. It's this thing called the Atwater system, and maybe somebody that's a food scientist could call in. They don't determine that anymore directly by burning the foods. They determine it by adding up the calories provided by the energy-containing nutrients. So it's more like a spreadsheet now. You put in protein, carbohydrate, fat, and alcohol, and then boom, and then you have to subtract the fiber and all that stuff. But so when they do that, again, it's going to be approximate, and they're rounding up or down just to make it look like round numbers on there. And the FDA allows them a certain amount of leeway.
Cool.
Okay, so that's how that works. So don't worry about it. Just if you basically, like if you want to be on a 1,200 kilocalorie diet, then if you eat foods that are marked in a way that gets you up to 1,200 kilocalories every day, it's going to be plus or minus. You'll be fine.
You're in the neighborhood, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And besides the holidays, enjoy it.
Well,
Don't count too much.
Eat all that green bean casserole.
Eat it all you want, baby.
Well, my my motto has always been everything in moderation, including everything in moderation, meaning every once in a while you just got to blow it out your ass. I think so. Anyway, but drink with responsible intent, of course. All right.
Hey, Dr. Steve, long-time listener. I've been listening to you since, I think, NEW with Opie and Anthony.
Damn.
But I'm a carpenter, 42 years old, and I have 2 fucked up ankles, one from a bad fall, 23 feet, and the other one from multiple other breaks. I broke my callus in my right foot. I'm supposed to have surgery to replace or...
I'm wondering, if you fall 23 feet, I guess you got to land on your feet, and you're going to break bones, working all the way up into
Lots
your pelvis.
of them, yeah.
And I guess you got to roll, and you're still going to break bones, but it's better than landing on your head or your chest.
Yeah, heck yeah.
We should probably do some research on that and find out. But a
hit
10-foot fall can kill you.
Oh, heck yeah.
So please don't do that. Don't try this. Don't do the experiment at home, but we could do some research.
Yeah.
Fuse my ankle in the next year or 2, but the pain's getting pretty bad. And I'm also in recovery for 10 years. I was an alcoholic, a little over 10 years. Never had a problem with pills, but they scare the shit out of me.
Yeah,
and
understood.
CBD oil. I was wondering if that would help because sometimes 4-Advil just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if they make a CBD oil that doesn't get you high.
Yeah, it's a great question. Yeah. CBD oil doesn't get you high.
Nope.
CBD oil is cannabidiol, and the one that gets you high is THC, and then other analogs like tetrahydrocannabinol. And but cannabidiol, really, there's no high to it. Now, what you got to be careful of is getting knockoff CBD.
Right.
Because some of it has too much THC in it, and that will get you high and will have you test positive on a urine drug screen. Mm-hmm. So normal run-of-the-mill CBD derived from hemp plants should have no more than like 0.3% THC in it.
To be legal to be sold as CBD.
Yeah.
That's correct, yeah. Hey, can I add to this too?
Yes, of course. Please do.
For this guy, real quickly.
I also found the answer on how to fall from a high height. Go ahead. Yeah.
First, don't fall.
Yeah, first, right. Prevention is the key.
Avoid falling from high places. But really quick, this guy, because I deal with this all the time with guys or folks that have drug addictions and giving them alternative for pain medicine. So the curcumin turmeric formula is great. It works very similarly to an NSAID. The CBD,
what is NSAID meaning a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug, like
Advil
or
Naproxen. Okay. So that's one good alternative. The topical things, Dr. Steve, work extremely well in these instances, which is what I prefer.
Yeah.
Voltaren gel is something that's a prescription medicine, works extremely well. Arnica is an old homeopathic medicine, works extremely well, and a lot of these newer topical creams that have capsaicin and things, they work extremely well for these types of ankles. Because I get these guys from orthopedics that have their ankles replaced, and these are some of the things we do. And one last thing about the CBD oil, when you eat it, when it's an edible or it's an oil, no effect. But I have heard some people say if they buy it and smoke it like a joint, that they do get a little buzz.
So now, it's carboxylate? I've never heard of that.
But hey, Dr. Steve, it doesn't mean they're getting stoned, but they do get a little bit of a funny feeling. So that's just what I've heard. I've never smoked any CBD, or hemp. But those are some good options.
Yeah, it says here, almost all CBD products you'll find have gone through decarboxylation already because apparently it's, who knows?
I guess they activate the
phytocannabinoids. Those are plant-based cannabinoids because there's endocannabinoids too, ones that are in we have brain, that's why we have receptors for pot, is because our brains are already making a very similar molecule. Now this is the worst website.
Oh no.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, there may be something to that, but I've never heard that.
Yep.
And I think that the stuff that you're getting is already decarboxylated anyway. So I don't think heating it's going to do anything, but that could be a placebo effect.
Could be,
too.
Yep. Just throwing it out there.
I could be wrong, or they could be getting crappy CBD that's got too much THC in it, and now they're decarboxylating it.
Yep.
From a strip mall somewhere. Pop-up store.
Know your supplier. If you're going to buy it, I have talked to several of the pharmacists around here and make sure that they know where it's coming from and that they've seen the data on it and that it's the right stuff. Now, as far as plummeting from a plane or from 23 feet, this is from a website called The Bright Side, and it says even a fall from the first floor can end up badly. Never mind one from 33,000 feet. However, Yugoslavian flight attendant Vesna Vulovic managed to survive a fall from this height after her plane blew up in the air as a result of a terrorist attack. Holy crap.
That's a bad luck.
Wow.
Now, I've heard that a lot of these people who survive falling out of an airplane end up, falling into a forest. And the trees mess them up. But they break their fall because the branches up at the top, of course, are not as thick as they are down low. So you sort of fall through, and each successive stronger set of branches
slows you
down. Now, you don't want to have your legs spread wide open while you're doing that. That would not be good.
No.
So that's they talk about that.
Cannonball.
Well, I don't think that's a good idea either. You want to have your legs together and pointed toward the ground. So if you fall out of a window, try to cling on anything you can find. It'll break your fall in a few intervals and decrease your speed a bit. If there's canopy in your way, be it plastic or glass, it will help you stop your fall. Yikes.
Wow.
Yeah. Lord. And it says it might sound like a cruel joke, but try to relax your muscles while you're falling. Don't tense them up. Drunk people and little kids are those who survive a fall most often, and that's true. We've seen that. These drunks will fall out of a window, and they walk away sometimes. Bend your knees, but not too much, and hold your legs together. This way, both of your legs will touch the ground simultaneously, and the impact will be weaker. Additionally, try to land on the tips of your toes to absorb the force of the impact. You'll most likely break your legs, but this is the lesser of two evils. Don't do the following. Don't land on straight legs. Yeah, I can. Oh, can you imagine?
No.
Yeah, and don't spread them apart. Yes, and don't land on one leg thinking you'll save the other this way.
That just sounds horrible. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I mean, I don't know that you can have the correct mindset though when you're falling.
I know. That's right. Now it says if you fall from an airplane, it will take you 3 to 6 minutes to fall from a height of 33,000
Holy cow,
feet.
can you imagine?
It wouldn't take me that long.
The fall itself will have the speed of 120 miles an hour. Unfortunately, the chances of surviving are incredibly slim, but it's still worth trying to save your life. First of all, keep in mind, people who managed to survive sat in the tail part of the plane. Well, that doesn't help me if I wasn't in the tail part and I'm falling to the ground. So if something happens to your plane, like it explodes or starts falling to pieces in the air, first you're going to hear a deafening roar. Oh, geez, I don't want to hear all this.
I don't even want to listen to this anymore.
Next question.
I want to see if they had some. Oh, they're wanting you to ride down in your chair if you can. Well, you won't have a choice.
Not at that point, no.
Okay. Okay, listen to this guy, though.
No.
There's a guy that, Alan McGee, in 1943, fell from his aircraft that was flying at a height of 20,000 feet and survived after crashing through the roof of a train station. If you happen to be in such a situation, remember this advice. Take the pose of a falling skydiver. Spread your legs and arms. That way you'll slow down your fall. Try to direct your flight, move backward and forward. Don't land on water, even if you're a good diver, because it's just like concrete at that speed. Direct your fall toward a field, plants, trees, or bushes. On the other hand, there's a chance you'll be pierced with it by a stick or a branch. The best alternative would be snow or a haystack. Okay, yeah, I see a haystack. I'm going to go for it.
I'm aiming that way. I'm aiming at a haystack.
Okay, listen to this.
Oh, Lord.
Why does this scare me so much?
You and me both.
Well,
I would have already had a heart attack, so it wouldn't matter.
What Anthony said that was really true, this was a million years ago, and I realized that he and I think alike. He said that, looking over, say, like if you're at the Marriott Marquis on the 70th floor and you're looking over, the only thing that keeps you from jumping is your will not to do that. That's the only thing. Mm-hmm. Now, that creeped me out when I thought about it, because that's exactly what I think about. It's like I grip onto it and look over the side, and it's like, God, I hope I don't, for whatever reason, decide to jump. And it's like, why would I do that? But that really is the only thing that keeps you from falling to your doom, is that you just don't want to do that.
Oh, my God.
That hotel.
Hey,
is
can we
creepy.
go back to the tree thing, canopy, for 2 seconds?
Yeah.
So I got a guy that's a Vietnam veteran and was a pilot, and his helicopter, he was flying a helicopter, and they got hit, and so the way he landed his helicopter was he was over he flew into the forest and then laid it down on his ass end first into the trees, so the trees slowed his descent down, and the blades hit it. And it was pretty crazy.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. There was a 17-year-old, Juliana Kepke, managed to find her way out of the Amazon jungles after falling from the height of 10,000 feet.
Whatever. I can't do this anymore. I'm going to have to leave.
Next question.
All right.
Didn't they make heavy things about
what
penises
is
or poop or something?
as scary as this is driving into a lake with your car?
Yeah, well, don't do that.
No, I know.
Yeah,
but what if you're... Or going over a bridge and the bridge is out, but you don't know it.
Yeah. When I was in Vermont,
That'd be bad.
I had a four-wheel drive vehicle, which you do, but I was driving to the hospital on these back roads like an idiot because I thought, well, I can get there faster. I hit a bridge, and there's, a little railing on either side, and then there's river, maybe 30 feet down on both sides. Hit the bridge. Totally black ice. Start spinning. Nothing I can do. It's just black ice. No friction whatsoever. I start spinning. I did 360, and then I kept spinning. Did 720. By the time I finished the exact 720, I was at the end of the bridge, and I just kept going. And I just laughed. What else could you do?
Are you kidding me?
I just laughed, and I said, I guess this wasn't my day.
Oh, my God. Wouldn't you love to have like a camera?
Oh,
and somebody
yeah.
just had a video, and everybody, because that would have been like.
Oh, it would have been a
insane.
viral video for sure.
Oh.
But this was way before all of that. But that was.
Did you
insane.
soil your pants?
It was weird. I was oddly calm.
Oh, funny, yeah.
Now, if I had gone over the edge, I'm sure the adrenaline would have kicked in. But I was just oddly calm because there's nothing I could do.
Nothing you could do, no.
You know, I'm either going to
Jeez.
die or I'm not going to die.
Right.
There's no third thing.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Phew.
All right. That's
a good
how
story.
the hell did a CBD question we end up?
I
Oh,
don't
that's
know.
because he fell out of the tree.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Today's episode is brought to you by Angie. Angie has made it easier than ever to connect with skilled professionals to get all your jobs and projects done well. Let me tell you, there's the version of it where you try to do something at home, and then there's a version of it where you have someone help you, you watch them do it the right way, and you go, thank God I didn't try to do that myself. I have fully done things around the home that I think look good, and then a bang in the night, and I wake up to a shelf collapsing, a painting falling off the wall. I've seen it all go south. I own a home, and I can tell you, I know how much work it can take. Whether it's everyday maintenance and repairs or making dream projects a reality, it can be hard just to know where to start. But now all you need to do is Angie that and find a skilled local pro who will deliver the quality and expertise you need. Whatever your home project, big or small, indoor or outdoor, you can Angie that and connect with skilled professionals to get the project done well. Right now, one of my wish lists is I want a bike for my condo in Milwaukee, and I would love to rig it up on a pulley in the ceiling because I have one of those like lofted ceilings, but I'm so scared to try that on my own. Angie has 20 years of home experience, and they've combined it with new tools to simplify the whole process. Bring them your project online or with the Angie app. Answer a few questions and Angie can handle the rest from start to finish, or help you compare quotes from multiple pros and connect instantly, which means you can take care of any home project in just a few taps. Because when it comes to getting the most out of your home, you can do this when you Angie that. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
Get 15% off a set of Brake Mess Select, Select Pro, or Import Direct brake pads and 2 rotors now at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, Dr. Steve. My name's Mike from New Jersey.
Hey, Mike.
I was just wondering, every time I get blood work done, I test positive for Hep C, and then when they send it out for further or confirmation, it comes back negative, or it lays dormant or something in my system. I don't understand exactly, but they say I'm not positive for Hep C once they send it out for confirmation.
Right.
Can you please, if you understand what I'm trying to say,
I do.
explain that a little better to me?
Absolutely understand it. You phrased the question perfectly. So they do this hepatitis test on him and it's positive, then they send it off and it's negative, and it keeps going back and forth and back and forth. Now, why is that? Because the first test they're doing is an antibody test. The second one is looking for active infection.
Mm-hmm.
And he had it and his body cleared it. And so he's got a positive antibody. And then when they send it off for confirmation to see if he has, a reactive, viral protein, then it's negative. So you had it at one point, and your body cleared it. So you don't have the infection anymore, but you'll always have the antibodies. And that's just basically it. All right?
Cool.
Thank you.
Hey, Dr. Steve. Just wanted to know, once someone gets the vaccine, will we have to still continue to wear masks?
That is such a great question, because in a perfect world where everything worked according to logic and science, the answer would probably be no. However, there is a caveat. We don't know that the vaccine prevents infection. We think it does.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't, it just makes you asymptomatic, and now you become an asymptomatic carrier, then, yeah, you got to wear the mask. So we'll find out in the next few months. They vaccinated 10 times more people in the first day, or, the first partial week with this vaccine than they did during the whole 9 months of trials. So they got 20,000 people in the trial. I think they did 275,000 people, and it's probably in the millions by now.
Right.
So we're going to start seeing those real rare complications, if there are any.
Mm-hmm.
But also we'll get to test things like this. through our surveillance, are we finding people that got the vaccine that are asymptomatic but they're shedding virus? If that's the case, then yeah, they're going to still have to wear a mask until it's over.
Gotcha.
When is this going to be over?
Well, Tacie, that's an excellent question.
Good question.
Let me tell you something. If we can get 90% of people in this country to be immune, either through vaccine or through natural immunity. Some people are naturally immune, and then that's hard to test for, and then other people have had it.
Right.
And that's getting harder to know because someone that had it in March might not have antibodies anymore, but they're still relatively immune.
Right.
So, but if we could get 90% of people to be immune to this virus, then remember we talked before, if we get to herd immunity, where it's, our sub T is 0.9, where 1,000 people would infect 900 people. Then 1,000 people would infect 100, which would infect 10, which would infect 1. And now you're seeing a huge decrease in cases. So if we can, this thing can be over quickly if we can just get immunity up to that 90% level. And the way to do that right now is not through infections. I think we're still only at 5% of the country. Let's go to covid.stoutlabs.com. covid.stoutlabs. That's our friend Daniel Stout, who's been on this show. He is a computer genius of world-class caliber. And we can get on his website and see just how many cases we have in this country. Okay, 18 million cases. And that is, let's say, 18 divided by 350. We'll just say 18. Let's see if Echo can do it. 8, Echo. Oh, you dumbass.
Hello.
What is wrong with her?
Echo.
All right, it's fine.
There she is.
It's too late.
Oh.
Just what's 18 divided by 35, by 350?
Hold on.
You have, I don't want to hold this whole thing.
0.05142.
Okay, so 5%, right? 5% of the country. So 95% of people still haven't had a case. Now, that doesn't mean only 5% have been infected. But let's just say it's 5 times that. People just go crazy. Say 5 times the number of people have been infected that have been had cases. That's still only 25%. Where still 75% of people haven't even been exposed to this virus yet. So we're not going to get it that way. So we're going to have to do it through vaccination. And there you go.
There you go.
And the other thing is, you'll have to wear a mask until they get us like a scarlet letter or something that says, I don't have to wear a mask because I had the vaccine.
Yeah.
Now, that would be a way to encourage other people to get the vaccine, although there will be people who will counterfeit those. Say, well, I ain't going to get that vaccine, but I ain't going to wear no mask neither. And then they'll wear the scarlet letter saying that they got the vaccine when they're a damn liar.
Tennessee's really shining as far as number of cases. We
are
balls for life.
Yes, we are.
Well, let's just look at that. So on covid.stoutlabs.com, you can go to U.S. data. Well, yikes.
We're way up there, baby.
Well,
way up.
We are not up as... Okay, so this is total cases. Tennessee, 534,000. Florida, 1.2 million, but you got to do it by population because, Florida's got a bigger population than we do. Let's do cases per 100,000.
Yes.
There we go.
There you go.
Now, cases per 100,000. Now we shine. 7,000 cases per 100,000. New Jersey, 5,000. Florida, 55. And New York, 44. Now, though, let's look at deaths per 100,000. And I'm just using these 4 states. Interest. New Jersey, number 1 at 205. New York, 188 per 100,000. And then Florida, 94. And Tennessee, 90. So we have more cases per 100,000, but we've got vastly fewer deaths. It's half the number of deaths per population than New York and New Jersey do. Okay, so check out this website, if you really want to play with some numbers and look at some things, it's very interesting. He's done an amazing job. And just looking at the curve of total cases in the United States over the last 300 days is quite outstanding, because you see the first little bit, and then you see the first wave, and then it comes down a little bit, and then you see this second giant wave, which I really call the third wave, because I think the first segment was really the first wave. But anyway, we could argue that all day. All right.
Hey, Dr. Russ from Ohio. Hey, this RNA COVID vaccine,
yes,
to stop medical science from doing something like this with cancer, making the body recognize it as a foreign body and it
give yourself a bill.
Great.
I'm going to give him one of those. Good. We've talked about that before. Yep. He's absolutely right. Cancer is a failure of the immune system to properly surveil its surroundings. And we haven't talked about this in a while. One of the analogies I'll use is you've got a serial killer living in your neighborhood, and every day you drive by this guy, and he's out there pruning his roses and mowing his lawn. Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
Clean his house on the street.
And then the villagers don't come with the pitchforks and the torches until one of the people that's in the basement escapes and says, hey, this guy's got a dungeon of horrors in there. And then we go and burn the house down, right? So the same thing is the case in the situation where you have cancer and the immune system is just going right by all these white blood cells that are supposed to be surveilling or doing surveillance on the body are missing it. And the cancer is fitting in to the society inside the body well enough that the immune system just doesn't notice it. Right. And it's until we use special techniques to try to open up those tumors to the immune system so that they can see it as foreign. And so one way to do that is to take out some tumor cells and process them in the lab, take out white blood cells from the patient, and have them be exposed to each other. When you start seeing the white cells start to attack the cancer cells after you've manipulated them with whatever manipulation you do, then you inject them back in, they start to divide, and then they say, oh, wait a minute, that tissue over there isn't right, and then they go in and take it out. Right. Cell by cell, molecule by molecule, they can do a perfect job if they are just made aware of it. So if you go to drsteve.com and click on the upper right-hand corner, non-pseudoscience cancer cures, there's places or articles in there that I've culled from the literature, just a few of them, just so that you could see where exactly this is being done. There's another thing called the abscopal effect, and the abscopal effect is generally seen in people with melanoma. Let's say you've got melanoma, metastatic tumor in your hip, and you irradiate it, and then 3 weeks later the patient comes back, all their melanoma's gone everywhere in their body. And what happened? Well, when they irradiated the hip, that tumor started to break down, and now the immune system could see the proteins in a different configuration, in a different way, and now they could recognize it. This is bullshit. What are you doing here? And it's just as if the victim comes running out. Oh, they're holding us in the basement. Right. And then the white blood cells become the villagers with the pitchforks and the torches and just tear down the house.
Still incredible.
Yep.
Just incredible.
So the age of chemotherapy is coming to an end, and there will be a time when, just like Scotty in Star Trek VI, no, not Scotty, Bones in Star Trek VI. Was that the one where Chekhov fell?
Nerd alert.
Which no, it was the Voyage Home. It was number 4, the whale one, where they went back in time.
You mean there's been more than one?
Yeah, and then shut up. You're an ass. And then Chekhov fell, and he had a subarachnoid bleed, and they were going to take him to the hospital. And Bones was like, "No, you primitive assholes!" And he held that thing over his head, and it just repaired it. That's the way we're going to look back at chemotherapy in not too many years. I used to say 100 years, then 50, then 25. They're actually marketing some of these some of these therapies right now.
Good.
That's incredible.
That is crazy.
All right. Non-pseudoscience cancer cures. Check it out, drsteve.com. Uh-oh. Oh.
You want to class this? Anyway, had an employee yesterday fiddling with his hand.
That's Tacie Deloach, everybody. Hello, how you doing there, Stace?
Hey, this is kind of, I don't know how you want to class this. Anyway, had an employee yesterday fiddling with his hand, and it looked like it was just a infected hair follicle. He squeezed on it real hard, and when it shot pus out of it, it got in his eyes. Real that hard. So grabbed him, got a bottle of saline out of my go bag, and washed his eyes out and everything. What else do we have to worry about other than pus getting in your eyes? You know it is from your own body. Just curious. Bye, Tacie.
Boy. So, one time, I've told this story before, but this is a good place to do it, was opening up a lesion on someone's back, and it was a big dome-like lesion. It was really tense. And I said, this one's probably there's going to be a lot of fluid in there, you can tell. And I was not properly protected. I thought I was. But I just thought if I just put the number 11 scalpel in there, that the number 11 scalpel is one that you incise with. It's like a triangle shape. And if I just put the edge in, it would be no problem. Well, that's what I did, and it was under such pressure that at least a half a cup of pus came spewing out, covered up my glasses. Thank God I had my glasses on. But when something surprises you like that, what do? You go, ah! And, of course, with your mouth wide open, you get a mouthful of pus. So...
Gross.
Yep.
That's still better than falling out of a plane.
Yeah, it is better.
Better than falling out of a plane. And there were no untoward effects other than the fact that it made me kind of sick to my stomach. And but I didn't get sick from it. Most of those kind of boils or carbuncles or furuncles that are under pressure like that, most of the bacteria in there are dead. The pus comes from not only bacteria multiplying, but the body recruiting white blood cells. And
some oil and stuff in there too, probably.
Yeah, and
oil,
just and just broken down fat, and it's just disgusting.
A mess of yuck.
But most of the time, the bacteria in there will be dead, and you can culture stuff out of there sometimes. But a lot of times, I've cultured abscesses, and they were just sterile, just sterile abscess. So if that was the case in this guy's case, then the only thing he has to worry about is just the sort of direct irritation from the pus. If a day later he's got red. The whites of his eyes have turned bright red. Well, now he's got a bacterial infection in his eye. He's going to need some antibiotics for that. All right.
I thought Tacie was going to say he sucked the pus out of the guy's hand to save his life or something cool, but no.
Yeah. No, that's that old joke where, the guy gets snake bit on the end of his penis, and the only way you could save his life is to suck the poison out, and the guy says, dude, you're just going to die. So... All right.
I think I may have asked you this question before, but when your blood's in your body, is it red? I've heard a theory where, not saying it's blue, but you look at your veins and they're blue, and I don't know if red mixes with the color of your vein and makes it look blue, but is that something where oxygen hits it and it turns red?
Kind of. Oxygenated blood is brighter red than non-oxygenated blood, but they're both red. And if you look at them, you can really tell the difference. Like if you make a mistake and draw blood from an artery, it is a really bright scarlet color, like Tacie's iPad. And if you draw it properly from a vein, it's very, very dark. And in a dim room, it would look black. So now just exposing that to oxygen will not create a bright red blood. It has to be done cell by cell, and the only way that our body is able to do that is by passing blood through the capillaries of the lungs, where oxygen is then transmitted from the outside of the body to the inside of the body. And that makes that real bright red blood as oxygen attaches to hemoglobin. And there's all these interesting dynamics, physical dynamics that have to do with how oxygen is absorbed onto hemoglobin and how it's released. And it's beyond the scope of this discussion, but it is fascinating.
Right.
But the reason your veins kind of look blue, and it's not really blue, but it's just the way that the skin and the vein reflects light, because you're passing white light through the skin, bouncing off the vein, and then coming back through the skin again. And it strips off some of the red wavelengths, and what's left is just sort of blue.
Bluish looking, yeah.
So it looks bluish looking.
Yep.
Anyway, all right.
Good question, though.
Yeah, it's an awesome question.
Mm-hmm.
Love stuff like that.
Well, I go to a pain management doctor, and I was told that, like, if you were to put, like, hemp oil, or if you were to use hemp oil, that it would actually register as using marijuana.
Yeah, we answered this. Let's see if he's got this question's a little longer than this. Let's see if he's got a little more to it.
But I was also wanting to find out, also alcohol, like if you were to...
Okay, let's answer the CBD thing. Yes, what a lot of the pain clinics will say is, if you can do CBD, but if you test positive for THC, you're gone. They're gonna discharge you, and then you're left with nothing. Mm-hmm. And in 2020, when you have the kind of issues that we have, and doctors have been blamed for this opioid crisis, and we obviously, particularly in the 80s, bear some culpability in this. But a lot of doctors say, well, then I'm just not going to write them anymore. Mm-hmm. And not just doctors, but all providers, nurse practitioners, and PAs too. And so in a situation like that, if you lose your pain management physician, nobody else can write anything.
No.
Or your pain management provider. It's going to be very difficult to find somebody else to start over with you again, because the second they find out you were discharged for cause, that's it. Right. So follow the rules. And if there's any chance that you could get the boot because they don't care. Hey, I bought it from this place and it was fly by night. It said CBD, but it had too much THC in it. They don't care.
No, even if it's a reputable, even if it's a pharmaceutical grade CBD oil, they still can, if they choose to, discharge you from their practice.
Right. Well, if they find out about it. But I'm saying you're more likely to test positive for THC from fly-by-night CBD than you are from the real stuff that has 0.3%. Yep. But it really depends on how sensitive the assay is. Yep. Because there's some really sensitive assays out there. Yep. But I don't think anybody doing routine drug screening can detect the THC that's in CBD. But that doesn't mean you're cool. No. Because you don't know. Right. Unless you do the assay yourself. You put it in a GC mass spec and see that the THC level is low enough to be below detection, you could be hosed.
Yeah, and those people, and because we deal with that every day too. People are scared to death of taking CBD oil, which may benefit them. Yeah. But they're scared to death because it's like, if there's only one group of people that will help them with their medications.
The pain clinics need to ease up on this some, in my opinion.
That was what I was going to ask. So if with marijuana being
awesome,
more accepted, with it being more accepted and legal in certain states, I mean, are many people less loosening up on it?
My rule is, I work at the cancer center, and my personal belief is that THC should be legal, and it is legal in pharmaceutical form as long as it's synthetic. There is a drug called dronabinol. It's basically lab-derived THC. What isn't legal in our state is THC derived from plants, extracted from plants. But I believe it should be available, particularly for cancer patients and hospice patients. Why would we deprive them of anything that might help them? Right. And the data is overwhelming that it's helpful for a lot of people. So I think if the pain clinics want to be in control of this, then they should sell their own CBD and then give people a pass if they have a very low level of THC in their urine. Now, they could tell them, if it's above a certain level, I'm going to know you're doing something naughty.
But Dr. Steve, don't you think, and you can speak to this, and I think
I'm probably going to answer yes to this.
But don't you just think as a pain medicine prescriber, if you had the option to give someone CBD or even a little bit instead of a fentanyl patch, you know what I mean,
or in addition to even,
or even make that other stuff work better.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, to me, it's a no-brainer.
Yep, me too. I don't get it.
No, I don't either. It's so much. I mean, it would be.
I don't get it
for the providers. It would make their life so much easier.
And the pain management people, they could say, look.
We don't want you
doing CBD out on the street. Here's the brand that we have vetted, and you have to buy it from us. If you buy it from us, then we'll give you a pass if you have a low-level THC. They'll make money. The patients will be happier.
Yep.
And don't rip people off. I mean, sell it to them at a reasonable.
And there's pharmaceutical grade CBD everywhere.
Of course,
it's
there
good
is
stuff. So I mean, it's just lack of. I guess maybe education, maybe to the providers or not even the providers. I wouldn't say. I would say the
it's
government.
Political. To me, it's political that people. Well, marijuana's bad.
It's bad.
It's just bad.
And CBD's the same damn thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Damn hemp plants. Anyway, all right. Let's see.
Next question.
Disinfect, your hands or hand sanitizer if you would use that. With that register?
No.
Also with alcohol?
No, but you know what will? If you're diabetic and you have a little distension of your bladder, a little what we call neurogenic bladder, it doesn't even always have to be that. But if you're diabetic and you have a lot of sugar in your urine, you can ferment it. And people will have alcohol show up on their urine drug screen that have never touched a drop in their life.
Or could even be actually intoxicated.
I don't know about that.
Did we have a call? I mean,
there is that auto-intoxication syndrome. That's in the bowel.
Years ago.
That's not from the bladder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had that a long time ago.
Yep. So you can be peeing out, basically homebrew.
Oh, that's gross. Come on.
It's tasty, though, Tace.
Kind of afraid to use it. I don't want to.
Okay, anyway. Yeah, and so you're okay on that one. Just don't drink in here.
Hey, what's going on, Dr. Steve? Tacie. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. Thank you.
We missed it. Okay, wait a minute. I get it. Okay, I get it. Ugh. It's the holidays.
You slipped right through it, didn't you?
Yeah, slipped right through what he was going for. Okay, here we go. Let's start over.
Hey, what's going on, Dr. Steve?
Hey, man.
Tacie.
Yeah, how you doing? Are you doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well.
Good.
Pretty well,
Good. Thanks, man.
Appreciate it.
I'm glad. So what you got?
Question about keto diet and gout.
Uh-huh.
I'm guessing from eating, the high proteins and also eating, the low carbs and, such carbs, the green carbs and asparagus and other types of green vegetables. Can that cause gout? If so, what could I add in to keep that from happening?
All right, Scott, you're the gout expert in this.
Lord.
Place.
Well, I'll tell you. First of all, I would identify anything high in purines. So, asparagus is going to be off the table. Shrimp and things like that. But he can eat other things that do not cause gout flares. Again, avoiding eggplants, avoiding red meat, and certainly, unfortunately, I think beer is probably a culprit in this too. But he shouldn't be having, if he's in true keto diet, he shouldn't be having beer anyway. So
yeah, true.
Yeah, just lay off the asparagus, lay off the things that say high in purines.
Yeah, so do you think you'll be okay. The labels say high in purines?
No, he's going to have to do his own work.
There you go.
Like I said, shrimp, asparagus, some of these other things are high in purines. Just don't eat them.
Yeah.
Just don't eat them. Trust me, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, so for people who don't know, gout is this really painful form of arthritis that it happens when you get uric acid in the blood that causes crystals to form in the joints.
Painful doesn't even begin to describe it.
Yeah, it's some of the worst pain. Oof, and it's so bad that when people have it, say, in their the joint of their big toe, they can't even stand to have a sheet laying over it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how bad it is. So when you break down these chemicals called purines, which occur naturally in your body, but they're found in certain foods, You break it down, you make uric acid, and then uric acid is eliminated from the body in the urine. But some people get this high uric acid level. Now, you can get a high uric acid level 2 ways. One is you either make too much, or number 2, you don't pee out enough. There's no third way. So you're either an overproducer or an under-excreter, and most people are under-excreters. But you can treat them kind of the same way. Tacie, you got any insight on any of that?
Nope.
Okay, fair enough. So one thing you want to do is being overweight increases the risk. But I've seen skinny people with gout too. Yep. But that's that sort of gourmand's disease. You think of the big obese person, the kings and stuff having gout and stuff. But the kind of meats that you want to avoid are organ meats, which for me isn't hard. Liver, kidneys, sweetbreads, that kind of stuff. Now, red meat can be a problem, but you want to limit beef, lamb, and pork, but chicken is pretty okay. Mm-hmm. And then fish is mostly okay, except for tuna and sardines and anchovies. But then, as Scott said, shrimp. But regular fish should be okay.
Yeah, whitefish is fine. Salmon's fine. Should be.
And Scott said asparagus. The other vegetable that's very naughty is spinach.
It's disgusting. Yeah. Asparagus is disgusting.
You know why you would say it's disgusting? Because your mother is disgusting.
It's
because
the most nastiest.
It's not.
It is.
Your mother fed you canned asparagus, and for that she should go straight to hell.
Shit.
No wonder she thinks
that
tastes like
a bad word.
Yep. I love asparagus, but I won't eat it. I love asparagus, but I will not eat it
because it's nasty.
Oh, he has gout.
Yeah, I know.
You're better off without it. Anyway.
I would love to have a plate full of like eggplant and asparagus and
I love
sauteed spinach.
Yeah.
But then you'd be willing. Well, you remember GVAC had to carry me out there almost one day because I had the gout in my ankle.
Yeah.
Of course, it's been a long time ago.
I'm looking at this place, and it says that there are studies showing that vegetables high in purines like asparagus and spinach don't actually increase the risk of gout.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, no, I'll be happy to look that up.
Yeah, look at
see
what you can find.
That's stuff I love to eat.
Because they're saying the meat and seafood does, but the high purine vegetables shouldn't be a problem. Now, alcohol is a problem. Sugar is a problem. Vitamin C may help lower
uric acid.
Uric acid levels. God, it's just been a long day. And drinking coffee in moderation may be associated with a reduced risk of gout.
Yes.
And there is some small evidence that eating cherries is associated with reduced risk of gout.
May I tell you some other things?
So just look up gout diet. This is I'm looking at Mayo Clinic right now. So.
I'll say sedentary lifestyle too. Sitting around your ass and being
just
sedentary.
letting blood pool in your extremities.
Terrible.
Yep. Okay.
So there you go.
Yep. So there you go.
Base cake, baby.
If you got the gouch, which is what they call it where I come from, if you got the gouch, then you'll want to. And listen, if dietary management doesn't do it, and it doesn't for a lot of people, there's a medication that you can take. If you're an overexcreter, there's a medication called probenecid that will cause you to pee out more in the beginning.
If you're underexcreter.
What did I say?
You said overproducer, yeah.
No, underexcreter, right?
Yeah,
if you're an underexcreter, the probenecid will help you pee out more.
Yeah.
And you'll have to take this medication called potassium citrate for a while, so that you don't form kidney stones, because you're going to start excreting a crap load and then it precipitates out and make kidney stones. So you need to do this with a physician or a PA or NP who knows what they're doing.
Right. Somebody's got some sense.
And then the other thing is allopurinol, and then what's that other new drug?
Uloric.
Uloric, thank you. I asked Tacie, your voice has gotten so much deeper. You have a very lovely radio voice.
It's her cigarette. She had a cigarette break a minute ago.
That was because I asked you something and Scott answered.
Sorry, Dave.
Anyway, thanks. Always go to Dr. Scott. And to my delightful wife, Tacie, who's on vacation for 2 weeks. And we'll be stress-free for 2 whole weeks.
No, not with this COVID crap. We won't.
I will be.
At least you'll be at home.
We can't forget Rob Sprance, Bob Kelly, Greg Hughes, Anthony Cumia, Jim Norton, Travis Teft, That Gould girl, Hogan's mom, Louis Johnson, Paul Opcharski, Chowdy 1008, Eric Nagel, Roland Campos, sister of Chris, Kim Roberts, Pat Duffy, Dennis Falcone, Matt Kleinschmidt, Dale Dudley, Holly from the Gulf, the great Rob Bartlett, Dandy Don Wicklin, Bernie and Sid, Martha from Arkansas's Daughter, Ron Bennington, and Fez Watley, who supported the show, has never gone unappreciated. What the hell is going on?
I don't know. Goodbye, everybody.
Many thanks to our
check.
listeners whose voicemail and topic ideas make this job very easy. Go to our website at drsteve.com for schedules, podcasts, and other crap. Until next time, check your stupid nuts for lumps, quit smoking, get off your asses, get some exercise. We'll see you in 1 week for the next edition of Weird Medicine.